What is up, guys, and welcome back to the episode of my F123 Alfa Romeo Road to Glory series. Yes, this series is still continuing. It's time for episode number 2 today for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix in Season 1. If you guys did miss the previous episode in the opener of the series at, well, the Bahrain Grand Prix, definitely be sure to go check that one out before you see this one as we finally get the series underway then, and hopefully, like I said earlier in the video, last time around, that it'll be longer than just 5 or 6 episodes. But we got a bit of a department event to quickly do here, and it's just asking if we want to head to the simulator or attend the meeting. Honestly, it's been such a long time since I've actually done this. Like, I really do not remember, so we're just going to figure out, I guess, what we choose. I guess we're going to go to the simulator, or I don't know what I'm doing at this point. But anyways, let's just focus on the game itself. Upgrades wise, we have, well, upgrades coming for the next Grand Prix, which is unfortunately going to be Australia. There is a minor front downforce upgrade that is available to be purchased, and thanks to the fact we have Spec 2, we do have the ability to rush that aerodynamic upgrade. We do have also a minor gearbox upgrade that'll come on in time then for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Don't need to worry about that too much, but this front wing upgrade could be interesting, because if we can get this on in time, potentially, if we somehow rush it and it comes in, then that could be helpful for us, because Saudi Arabia, of course, that first sector really demands a lot from the corner, so we're going to try to rush it. I highly doubt it's going to come in. We do have plenty of resource points waiting around just in case it doesn't come through, but there's really not a lot we can do, so we're just going to really mainly skip through the timeline. We get some more weekly resources, and I'm not really surprised it has unfortunately failed on us, but that does mean it'll come in next time for the next Grand Prix, which does mean we're going to have 4 performance upgrades coming in next race, and then we're also going to have a 5th one for the durability side as well, so hopefully those will both come in as well. But we're going to skip the Pirelli hug up. It's time to get straight then on to qualifying for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Of course, a one-shot quali, so 1 lap then around the Jeddah Corniche circuit, which probably is not the smartest idea considering the fact that this is one of the longest circuits on the calendar. It definitely has the most turns, so we're going to have to be a bit careful around here. But anyways, then setting up the car then to the best one, loading up the Saudi Arabia setup, trying to take out as much fuel as possible before we start our first lap then, as we make our way down the main straight here into turn 1, taking it nice and easy. It's down to 2nd gear, really murder those curves, up to 3rd gear, get on the power nice and early, and for a brief moment there, we're actually pretty quick through that section, up to P7 at the moment here, but this is where we're going to start to struggle a little bit and see really where this Alfa Romeo is struggling in terms of just pure downforce and grip, as we, well, part of it is just down to me being absolutely terrible through this section, as we get a massively incorrect there through that next section. We're down to P17, although we're only about 6 to 8 tenths behind Leclerc, so that's just how close this field spread is at the moment. We cannot get in the greatest line through that corner either, then trying to stick to the right-hand side for the shortest run here, up to P15 for just a moment there, missing the apex just a little bit here, get on the power here as early as possible, get very close there to the walls then. DRS wide open right about now as we now make our way down towards the next sequence of corners. Again, really sticking close to the walls here, try to minimize the distance travel here, down to 5th gear, clip that apex, make sure the car gets turned in here, don't want to go too wide and hit the outside wall there. DRS wide open, sticking close to the left-hand side here as we now make our way towards the final corner. Our straight line speed is actually pretty decent in the Alfa Romeo, up to P12 for a little bit here into the final corner. Well, I mean, the car does not want to turn for some reason. We just completely missed the apex. We're down at P15 here. Can we recover any positions as we charge towards the line, keeping to the left-hand side to minimize her? We'll just nab P14 at the line there, as very, very close there. Not the greatest qualifying. I mean, last time at Bahrain we did qualify P11, so I'm not really too surprised that we're a little bit farther off the pace this time around. Of course, adjusting the difficulty still, but we do manage to qualify ahead of our teammate, which is good. But look at how close the field spread is. Literally, with a couple hundreds, we would have been P12 here. There's a big gap then between Magnussen and Stroll, but let's worry about that later. Let's go to the Grand Prix.
We're here today on the shores of the Red Sea in the lower Hejaz Mountains to visit one of the newest circuits in the Formula One calendar, Jeddah, home to what we all hope is going to be a thrilling Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So let's take a look at a topographical map of the Jeddah Street circuit. As you can see, a number of challenging corners for the drivers to master here. We'll see just how much the teams have benefited from their time spent in practice this weekend. And like many street circuits, this track has the potential to punish drivers that get it wrong. Let's hope we avoid any safety cars today. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Sainz, Russell, Perez, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Gasly, Norris, Magnussen, Stroll, Hulkenberg, Gallagher, Oscar Piastri, Albon, Tsunoda, Bottas, Sargent, and Nick de Vries. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? And Anthony
So I'll take over the commentary here for now. Unfortunately, for some reason, this was recorded after a patch. The formation lap for some reason was not in. It was not turned on, even though I had the switch turned on. So, and this is also in the My Team series, so we're gonna have to be a bit careful here about how this is working. So, we're gonna go straight again, pretty much to the 5 red lights right now as we quickly switch over to the next clip here. 5 red lights, then immediately straight into the Grand Prix. Green, green, green here in Saudi Arabia. It's a decent start against Norris, who has a terrible start on the soft compounded tires, squeezing the middle, up the inside. A bit of contact there with both Stroll and the Haas then of Nico Hulkenberg, somehow managing to get out of that with no damage here. I think it was just tire wall to tire wall contact here. Up to P12, lead runner, I'm pretty sure, them of the medium compounded runners. There's a lot of guys here on the soft and medium. I don't think anyone is on the hards at this moment. Maybe some guys in the back, I'm not 100% sure. Following Magnussen through this section here. Don't want to get on the outside curbs here, as they can bottom you out and pretty much send you straight into the wall here. As you make our way then towards the end of Sector 1 and the start of Sector 2, trying to follow Magnussen through the car, pushing out a little bit too wide there. Stroll and Piastri both behind us here, and they'll be trying to make a move on us as quickly as possible. We're trying to stick then with this group ahead. They are on the soft tire, so it might be a bit futile to try and stay with them, but at the same time, if we can get dragged along by them, it'll only just help our race. Looking up ahead, it looks like Verstappen still leading, or one of the Red Bulls is still leading the way from both Mercedes there, or actually just the Ferraris that are absolutely dominating this at the moment. They're so far ahead on the map, you can't even see them there. One of the Alpines, I think, of Gasly is up there. Bottas, he's hanging behind there. He is currently, I think, in P16 at the moment. I think he's held up behind a Williams potentially, so we'll have to see where he ends up, almost running straight then into the back of Magnussen. Piastri had a bit of a look on us there. He's now going to get caught out behind Stroll as we now try to look ahead then onto lap 2 then of this Grand Prix. We got Madison just up ahead, send it up the inside of the Dane. A bit of a late move there, bit of contact there with Hulkenberg once again here, but we do manage to get the move stuck, and we are up into P11, and now actually Madison's getting shuffled behind by Piastri then, so actually it actually worked out pretty well for us, and we're not actually the lead car on mediums. Ocon, he's doing pretty well here, up in 9th, holding off the lights then of Hulkenberg, although the Alpine is a better car compared to the Haas then, so I'm not really that surprised there at the moment. I think another one of the Alpines is just up ahead as well. I think that might be Gasly in P8, and then we got Fernando Alonso down in P7, I think. I'm not 100% sure here, but we're going to try to stick with this group as best as we can here into the next sequence of corners we go, trying to keep the car on the track and not in the walls here. Very easy to mess up here as we make our way through these corners. Again, trying to take as minimal of an approach to these next corners, and you can see it is working, and the straight line speed of this Alfa Romeo is actually pretty decent. It's not like the massive straight line speed issues we're facing with the My Team car, which for some reason, it's like as if these guys have a rocket ship and we don't, which is really kind of annoying here. Anyways, and tucked firmly in the slipstream of Nico Hulkenberg. Are we going to set up the inside into the spawner corner? We thought about there. Move back to the racing line. It's better if we set it up into the first corner here. DRS flowing now as Carlos Sainz sets a fastest lap of this Grand Prix here. Tucked in the slipstream, pulling then to the inside here, as we thought about going to the outside, but going to the inside be a little bit easier as we go up the inside here. Alonso and Gasly are squabbling up ahead, as well as Ocon waiting to pick up the pieces. And meanwhile, we do get ahead then of Nico Hulkenberg, and that is then us up into the points in P10 here as we now try to chase after this group here. Gasly, he's on the soft tires, as well. So he's going to be making quite an early pit stop. Let's see where he comes out once the pit stops all fiddle about here. Lap 3, then on towards lap 4, trying to catch up with these guys, although they're having a big scrap of their own there. It is currently 2 by 2 by 2 up front here, with the 2 Ferraris leading. Then you got the 2 Red Bulls, then you got the 2 Mercedes, and then you've got Alonso flying the flag in the top 10. Then you got Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon, the 2 Frenchmen, and the oh my goodness, I can't speak. The 2 Frenchmen in the Alpine team trying to fight it out. You actually get a decent run there off of that turn. Ocon looks a bit slow here. We're going to try to send it up the inside into this next sequence of corners. We squeeze him, get the elbows out here, and now we, I think, are the lead driver on the mediums, unless one of the front runners is arguably on it, which I wouldn't be surprised. Try to stretch this stint and make an end run on the soft tires. That doesn't mean now we're up at the P9, then 2 points to our name here. Gasly and Alonso are just up ahead, and now into this phase of the race, I think it's our best job to try and stick with these guys here and see if we can break away from the other guy that's behind. Both Hasses are now fighting for that position. I think both Hasses and one of the McLarens, I think that is Oscar Piastri there, trying to pick up the scraps during that battle here. But looking now through these corners here, we are settling into a bit of a rhythm here. We are managing to keep within striking distance of these guys for now. We are mainly picking up a lot of time on the straights. The corners, the car is not really doing that well, but on the straights it's actually doing not that bad. As up ahead, we see Alonso trying to make a move here on Pierre Gasly here. Alonso goes around the outside, and he does make the move stick. Meanwhile, for us then, we're just sitting back here. Ocon, he's about 8 tenths behind us, so he's not too far behind, but at the same time, he's not really making too much of a threat to us at this point in time. Gasly, he's got DRS again. Let's see if he's going to make a move on the Spaniard here. Alonso goes defensive though into turn 1, so let's see how this plays out here. We're going to sit behind, take it nice and easy, wait to pick up the scraps if needed here. Alonso around the outside. He does make the move stick here. Can we now try to get Gasly? He's a bit slow off that corner, a bit off put there by the Spaniard. Up the inside, bit of wheel-to-wheel contact there. We squeeze him out in the end, and just like that, we are up then into P8. But Ocon is behind us now. He actually has now overtaken Gasly then, as now the medium tires are starting to come towards us here. We have been dropped though by for now, such as the pace of that Aston Martin. So yeah, not too great. But it is lap 8, and I do suspect that some of these guys on the soft tires will be coming into the pits. Then we'll see how that ends up, as both Gasly and Ocon are fighting behind. Hamilton, he's into the pits. So some of these guys into the pits. Hamilton, I think, is going onto the hard tires. I'm pretty sure he's going onto the hard tires, which is quite surprising considering the fact that he could probably go to the end on mediums. The rest of the grid is going to mediums, so maybe the Mercedes team is a bit afraid of tire wear here, and they just want to be on the hard so they can push towards the end here. The rest of the guys, the top 3, looks like Sainz, Perez, and Russell have stayed out there on their soft compounded tires. So technically, once those guys start pitting, we're going to be inheriting the lead then of this Grand Prix. We're going to be leading our first lap then of a Grand Prix, which is something I think I would never say, as well, we get caught out on the curb there, which is not really ideal because we have Ocon right behind us now. But like I said, then if we manage to stay in the lead here for the rest of this lap and we manage to come out ahead of these guys, we're going to be leading a Grand Prix for the first time in this series, and hopefully in the end we will be leading a lot more and trying to fight for some wins. But right now we're just trying to fight for the wooden spoon of points here. We're trying to fight for one or two points around this circuit at the moment. But right now we got bigger problems to deal with. Ocon, he's right behind us here. He's about 2 tenths away, just under 3 tenths as we make our way towards the fast chicane here. He's going to think about setting up the inside. I really don't want him to send it. Luckily, he backs out just in time, and we are still good to go. But he's going to have another run at us here.
Tire condition still looking good.
As he had a bit of a brush with the wall there. We're going to let Ocon by pretty much. Is he going to try to make a move? We're going to let him go to the inside if possible. We're going to actually brake a little bit early, put a bit of DRS chicken here, as we can then slingshot our way past him, hopefully down the straight, as the others are now peeling into the pits. And here we go, blasting by Esteban Ocon then. We are boxing this lap then onto the soft tires, and just like that, again, we are into the lead then of the Grand Prix. So it looks like us, me, Ocon, Piastri, Stroll are battling behind. Albon has actually stayed out as well, and actually Albon has gone ahead of Sainz, which is actually perfect, because if Albon can hold Sainz up, then that'd be great for us in terms of where we come out for after our pit stop here. Making our way through these corners, it is definitely sketchy on these very worn mediums here, as we, well, completely misjudge that apex here. as we look through the radio
No
options.
tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
Just making sure we don't have any front wing damage before we come into the pit. We have had a lot of contact with the walls. I'm surprised that the front wing has held up. Maybe the Alfa Romeo engineers have put some massive super glue onto this car, which hopefully is the thing, because this car is probably stronger than I've ever had, as we had a massive snap of oversteer. They're somehow managing to keep the car on the road here, and you can see the tires are starting to get absolutely shot here. So now is a good time to come into the pits. Trying to take it just a little bit easy here through these corners. You don't want to bin it and, well, get DNF then from this race. I think now we should just have a red flag and, you know, stop the race, and we can lead this race, but I don't think that's going to happen. Alcon's got different ideas here. He's going to try to pass us. We're going to go back down the inside. This is probably not the smartest idea, considering we're going to be coming into the pits here. We really go straight into the wall here, floor the gas here, as we now get into the pit lane here, sticking to the left-hand side, coming into the pits then, taking it nice and easy into this, and just hoping we don't speed then. Everyone else, I think, behind us is pitting, as now Leclerc takes the lead then of the Grand Prix. So I don't think the undercut has worked for Sainz, or maybe they did flop positions. I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to find out later. So medium tires off, soft tires on. There's a bit of a wait there, as we get to wait then for I think the Stroll to come into the pits here. And because of that, that now means Ocon is ahead of us. But he is on, for some reason, on the hard compounded tires. Everyone else who came into the pits pretty much came onto the hard compounded tires. We are the only guy that decided to go on soft, so we're going to have a massive grip advantage compared to these guys. So we can dispatch them quite quickly here, but it is frustrating. We are behind Ocon at the moment. Of course, didn't really help that Stroll came into the pits as soon as we were trying to leave there. But with a bit of traffic there in the pit lane, I mean, it was kind of expected to happen. But these soft tires are gripping beautifully here, as we now pull to the outside here of the Frenchman, Esteban Ocon. There was a bit of contact there to try to pull on the outside. You're trying to go around the outside. There's a bit of more contact, bit of a snap of oversteer, but we just managed to get ahead, and now we're back up into P11 with Magnus in the pit. He's in P10 here, and then you got Norris, who's 4 seconds ahead on the road. We were ahead of him before the pit stop, so it's going to be crucial to try and see if we can get past him before the end of the Grand Prix here. Trying to stick with Magnus here. We're going to save a bit of battery here, as we do have a straight line speed to try and overtake him in the end here. Making our way through the fast chicane here and onto this next DRS zone. We're going to stick behind him, I think, or we're going to try to make the move here. He does have a bit of straight line speed in the Haas. That Ferrari engine is still powerful. It is not terribly reliable, but it is still very, very fast here. Going for a wider line. I don't know if we got DRS. We are going to get DRS, though, luckily down this straight. So we're going to be flying by Magnussen as we make our way then through onto the main string here and up into the points then once again. And now our task is trying to catch Norris and Gasly. Remember, we are P8 then before all the round of pit stops started to happen. Gasly, he's 4 seconds ahead on the road. Norris is just under half that. He's 2.5 seconds ahead on the road. It's going to be tough. I don't know if we can necessarily catch Gasly. We can probably catch Norris before the end of the Grand Prix. I think the soft tires will hold up long enough to the point where we can manage that, but Gasly is going to be a different story. We're going to have to hope that Gasly pitted early enough to the point where those medium tires will drop off, and we're going to have to hope that our soft tires will last then until that point. But for now, it's just going to be keeping our head down here, trying to get as much performance out of these tires while they are lasting, and then see where we end up then, making our way through these corners here, trying to just absolutely wring the heck out of this car here, getting very close to the walls here. Again, watch the delta as we now make our way onto lap 14, so just actually 1.5 laps later, we've caught up to Lando Norris here. Gasly, he's still 3 seconds ahead on the road. We have made about a second on him. Looks like Gasly has a bit more pace compared to Norris at this point of the Grand Prix, which probably makes sense considering the Alpine is a better car than the McLaren at this stage of the career mode save. So we'll have to see how this Alfa Romeo stacks up to that Alpine. The Alpine's pretty fast in the straight line as well, though, so it could be hard to try and catch him. Meanwhile, Ocon, he's in P11 there. Again, I don't know why most of these guys went into the hard tires. They went pretty much more than halfway through the Grand Prix on medium tires, so they could surely go on soft to try and finish this race, but I guess that's what they're planning, eh? Maybe the Ferrari strategists are, well, they're just in all the teams, eh? I guess we'll find out then. Anyways, trying to stick with Lando Norris here. We're going to be trying to make a move then onto the next lap and try to push out after Pierre Gasly here, as we're trying to use the DRS to our advantage here. The DRS in the slipstream is so powerful in this game. It's actually quite ridiculous how fast you can overtake a person here and how quickly the overspeed can just shoot you by here. Catching up to Lando Norris here, tucked in the slipstream here, save a bit of battery as we make our way into the next corner here, the final corner of this very, very long street circuit here. Use a bit of battery here as we now try to make our way past Norris, tucked in the slipstream. Pull to the outside here as we go. Norris actually can give a decent fight for us considering the fact that McLaren is pretty slow in a straight line, but we do manage to get the moose tick. Just about make the corner here, and just like that, we're up into P9 here. As Mark compliments our pass here, we got 3 laps then to try and catch Gasly. He's just under 2 seconds here. Lap 16 then onto lap 18. We have finally caught Gasly. We are in his DRS, so we just got one quick task, and it's just try and catch up to him and overtake him. Easier said than done though, as these soft tires have pretty much already started to fall off the cliff here, and they're not really doing me any favors as we have to try to baby them towards the end of the Grand Prix. But with this DRS, we are catching Gasly at quite a rate of knock here, so as long as we can stick with him through the corners, we should be okay. As Gasly up ahead, we are pretty strong through some sequence of corners. Definitely the first chicane, we are strong, but through this section, through pretty much this entire S section, that hairpin at the back end of Sector 1 there is where we really seem to lose quite a bit of time, and you can see the understeer that this Alfa Romeo is having, and the fact that Gasly's just able to pull away from us quite a bit here on lap 17. We're on the penultimate lap. I still think the Ferraris are leading this Grand Prix. The Ferraris have put on a master show here at the moment as we have yellow flags behind us here. What is going on here? Who is retiring then from this race? I think it might be one of the Hasses here, and it is going to be, oh my goodness, as we have a massive snap of oversteer. Kevin Madison has retired from the Grand Prix. We've had a massive snap of oversteer there, and now Norris, he's all over us right now. He's going to try to get past us here into the next chicane here. On the inside we go. We force him wide. We actually go wide ourselves there as the car simply refused to turn. Somehow we get DRS off of Norris there. We might just have been just behind the detection zone, but we are now out of the DRS range from Gasly. That snap of oversteer completely ruined our run there, as we were hoping to try to make a move on this lap, on this coming lap here down the straight with the DRS, but unfortunately that's just not going to happen here unless Gasly somehow makes a mistake.
Final lap. Keep your concentration and let's bring it home.
Yeah, Mark, I'll do my best here. I'll try to bring this car home here. We're trying to catch up to Gasly as best as we can, taking a very interesting line to that first chicane here, trying to just use every inch of possible track we can get away with at this point in time here. But yeah, the soft tires, they're far from their best right now. We can't really do anything at the moment. Gasly, he's pulling away from us. There's nothing we can really do right now except the fact to try to bring it home. There are still yellow flags over there. Looks like Hulkenberg's car has just been cleared at the moment here, so kind of unfortunate to be sitting here in P9. Although I'm not too surprised considering the fact that we finished P4 at the Bahrain Grand Prix. I was really not expecting that, and probably too easy if you ask me, so this is more of a crash back to reality, eh? So we're going to have to get used to these little seldom points here at the moment here. Bottas, I don't even know where he is at this moment. He's not the same as he was in Bahrain, so maybe it's our car that's struggling around this circuit. I don't know here, but we're just going to try our best to bring it home here. Norris, he's a second behind us. He's actually just under a second as Charles Leclerc wins the Grand Prix. Then for Ferrari, he manages to get, I think, his second win then of the season. I forget who won the first Grand Prix. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that here. As we come into the final corner then for one last time this Grand Prix. Norris, he's behind us here. We're going to see if we're going to hold him off at the line here. We'll get behind. He's got the DRS. I think we got just enough room, and we're going to come across the line in P9. Still 2 points then for the team, and it's still a very good result nonetheless here. 2 more points. Still be happy with that. Piastri though does get driver of the day. Surprised we don't get driver of the day. Come on guys, give me a little love out here.
Here's our winner, pulling their Ferrari into Parc Ferme then. What a fantastic race. Tell me, Anne, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today and a stunning win for Ferrari.
So then, congratulations to Charles Leclerc for winning the Grand Prix. And actually, one of the Red Bulls comes in P2. It's Paris who comes in P2. So Paris splits the Ferraris and spoils their 1-2. They were running pretty strongly up there. So kudos to the Red Bull team for having a decent strategy. Although it is Red Bull, you have to give credit to the strategies. It's not Ferrari strategies. But yeah, I mean, coming home in P9, not too bad. We actually got some decent points out of that, and I would say, you know, the car actually felt pretty good. I was actually very surprised at our straight line speed performance around this track then.
And after this round of the World
yeah,
Championship,
bit disappointed we couldn't have come home P8, but that's just F1 here. Bottas finishing P18. Jeez, guy was so far behind here, but we are P6 then in the standings, P4 in the constructors here, ahead of Aston Martin, by the way, which is quite impressive then. But anyways, that is it then for the Grand Prix. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, definitely be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next episode for the Australian Grand Prix. I wonder, will this form continue, or will we start to see more struggles? Goodbye, everyone.